Hey guys, welcome to Panthers Forecast. Here we are, our very own first mock draft. So, after today's loss, I'm just going to go ahead and do a mock draft. I promised I would have this done earlier in the year, but I was still setting up trying to learn how to do this thingamajig right here. But first, we're going to look over the position group. So, I'm going to first go over the free agency for next year, and then I'm also going to look at unrestricted, restricted free agents on our roster, and then we're going to jump right into the mock draft. So let's look at this real quick. So I don't think this is going to be like a good year for like free agency. Like there's not going to be like any big blockbuster, like coveted like a Miles Garrett. We're not going to have any like Miles Garrett type players out. I think like maybe like Trey Henderson, but I mean like Trey Henderson's been in the league for like 10 years. But we don't need to look at quarterback. I think free agency, what we should now, you see we got Rico Dowdle right here. We definitely do need to bring Rico Dowdle back. Like we gotta have one. We can't just let Rico walk away for free. We definitely have to bring him back on our team. The big thing I think free agency we should kind of look at. I would say receiver we should focus on the draft, but if you're looking right here, some of these players I think George Pickens I think signed an extension, so that's a bummer, and that was also going to cost us money. I don't know how much we are under the cap for next year, but I don't think that we have that much money to afford George Pickens. But this is what our the wide receiver. You look at Juwan Jennings. You got Christian Kirk and whatnot, but I think we should just still go the young route. So I would say possibly the only thing I would say we should probably maybe look at is looking at maybe like the tackle group. But you're seeing right here in this report, they're saying that it doesn't really look necessarily star-studded with some of these tackles out here. Some of these are like older veterans or whatnot. But I would definitely have to say that we should definitely take a look at maybe some corners, maybe. Let me see where do we got right here with the corner. We got Jalen Watson and Jamil Dean. He wasn't playing today against the Panthers in the Buccaneers game, but this free agency isn't really looking all too good coming up. It's just like we'd probably get like some guys that can be like I guess like additionary backup picks. So we're definitely going to have to hit it big in the draft this year. So let me go ahead and look at our where is it at? Not our free agency yet. There we go. So I mean, you're looking at it. We got like one of them's going to be a unrestricted free agent. You got Cade Mays, who I think we need to bring back. He does really well with Bryce Young under center, outside of like Austin Corbett, and then also Rico Dowdle's one that we for sure need to bring back. Hunter Renfro and David Moore. I think we can go ahead and let these guys sort of like walk. I understand, most teams want to have like a veteran receiver on the roster, but I mean, our receivers are. Jalen Coker's not getting in trouble. XL ain't doing nothing crazy outside of just eating raccoons. T Mac is, these are all chill dudes. So I don't think that these are like knuckleheads where we need to have like a veteran receiver like, hey, don't do this, don't be going out partying, don't be out here, you know what I'm saying, throwing fisticuffs with your chef, we got a good I think our receivers on our team are level headed. So I think we can let Renfro and Moore walk, and then some of these other players, you know, we can make improvements on that. I would like to see. I mean, DJ Wanham, I do like DJ Wanham. I mean, we might let him walk, and then this brings me up to something. I was watching Phil Yates and Mike Greeny and Mel Kiper Jr. Talking about the upcoming draft, and they said a position of strength in this upcoming draft. The groups that are going to be strong are wide receivers and defensive end. we might actually let Wanham go and probably dip our toes into getting another defensive end in this draft. But the position that was weak to Mel Kiper and Phil Yates was the interior offensive line. So I don't think that we should, necessarily move, away with certain players like Brady Christensen or some other offensive linemen. We try to move around that area. I don't think we should focus moving around that area all too much. So that way we're not putting ourselves in a compromised position because this year this offensive line has been pretty good, and then also too last year those last 6 games the offensive line has been pretty good. So let's go ahead and jump into this mock draft. So here we go. Where's my draft simulator? And there we go. We're gonna select the Carolina Panthers. We got 7 rounds normal, enter draft solo, and here we go. So we got Deontay Moore going first to Oakland Raiders. We'll say, oh, no, no, no. See, that can't happen. We cannot have Jordan Tyson go to the New Orleans Saints. Him and Olave, and with the way no, Tyler Slog is playing, Jordan Tyson cannot go to the Saints. That is worst case scenario. And if you watch my last video, you heard me mention that the Saints have a top 10 pick. So next year, the Falcons and the Saints are going to be better. I actually think that next year the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to finally start to take their receding steps back. Now, we have a trade with Houston. So on this mock draft, I'm not gonna do any trades. I'm not gonna accept any trades. We're just gonna go straight to it. I'll do other mock drafts, and then I'll probably accept some, or I'm gonna accept some and talk about it. But I will say this: this is actually a good thing right here that this trade pulled up where we're at as the Panthers, how our roster is and how we're missing a few spots. I This would be a good year for us to probably trade back. Like, I actually think that this draft we can actually trade back and get a pick if we get something really good. Now, this right here is talking. It's looking like a 26, so we would go to like the end of the first round, and then I guess you know basically I think 6 picks in the second round. So basically those 2 picks would be close to each other at the end of the first round, and then at the beginning of the second round, and then we would be giving up, let's see, 140. What is that, like a fourth or so? This trade, honestly, I mean, I wouldn't do this trade. But back to the larger point. The larger point is that the how our team is positioned, how we set, and how we played this year. I actually think that this is one of the drafts that we can actually trade back. Last year's draft, I don't believe we like trade back. I think the LA Rams were going to give us a couple of first round picks for Tedero McMillan because they really wanted Tedero. And now I don't know if we're gonna have that kind of luck because I mean, right now they got us picking at 14, so I don't really think there's gonna be like a player like, oh my god, we really gotta have this player at 14. We're gonna give you like 3 first rounds for this player at 14. Like, oh my god, what is going on here? Like, none of that's gonna happen at 14. I think if anything else, we'll see something like this. Hopefully, in a perfect world, we don't have to give up the 114 pick. In a perfect world, it'll just be, hey, we'll give you the 26 and the 38 for the 14th pick. So that's the scenario that we would most likely want. But to bring that up, so I'm going to reject this trade, but I do think that this upcoming draft, we should definitely look to try to increase our chances of having more picks. So let's do that, and let's see who's on the board. So Right now, they have our team need as edge, safety, corner, tight end, and offensive tackle. So I agree with the corner. I guess you. I mean, I don't think edge. I mean, we do need to get better on the edge rush, our pass rush, but I don't think it's like Preston. Safety. Yeah, well, we can use some depth on there. Tight end. I don't really think tight. I think we got a good enough trio with what's their name? Evans, Trimble, and Sanders. You'd want a little bit more consistency, but then again, uh, with Dave Canales, just going back looking at Seattle, even with Pete Carroll, they've never really always used a tight end. Even with Russell Wilson, when Dave Canales was up, even though he wasn't, I don't think he was like the main offensive coordinator. The Seattle offense or the Pete Carroll offense system that he comes from, they don't really necessarily always utilize the tight end. So that's why I'm not necessarily so big on the whole like tight end. We need to go get it and whatnot for our team. So I'm gonna go here and look at the receivers that are still left. So we have, let's see. I actually think we should probably take a look at receiver because we're definitely going to need a number two receiver to help get some pressure off of T Mac and then to also open up our offense. I really KC Conception. I don't really know about all of that. And then oh man, they took. Oh man. Let me see who do they got as wide receiver. Let me see that I like. Oh, man, it would have to be KC Conception or Chris Bell or I'm tempted to take Jeremy Bernard, but let me go and look at defense on the linebacker and see who's so. Oh, Sonny, you know what? On this one, we're gonna go C.J. Allen. I think that's gonna be the pick right there. For the first draft, we're gonna take the linebacker from Georgia. I really want to. Sonny Styles. Oh man, what is this right here? Let's see. Sonny Styles has a linebacker stacked at one, a former safety, explosive. But then, what have we got? He's close to Paxton. Dang man, I'm a sucker. I'm really am a sucker for Alabama. So we're gonna go ahead and take C.J. Styles on that on C.J. Allen on that one. So here we go. So for our first pick, we're gonna go linebacker. I think that's pretty much the most important part for what we need in this draft is a linebacker. So that way we can have our quarterback of the defense. Now here we go in the second round. So let me go ahead and take that off. I already taken off my linebacker. We're not going to take this trade. We're going to reject that trade. No, we're not trading. Alrighty, so right here, let me look at my corners. Cornerback. Offense, no defense. Let's look at the edge. Let's see who do we have here at edge. So what do I think the Panthers are going to do in the second round? I mean, this is going to be a deep edge and wide receiver draft. Let me go back to my wide receivers and see who do I have. Okay, Jacoby Lane. Let's see, Junior breaking out. 6'4". 6'4". Dang. I like that. I like that. And then let's see. Doesn't have elite upside, but he has a profile of a day two. He has things like explosive, functional, has a functional route tree, um, strong hands up the middle. Let's see about that. Cooper Jr. You know what? I think I'm gonna go pass rush right here. I think we definitely gotta go pass rush right here. So let me see. It's an edge rusher. We saw him unlock a. I don't like that. I don't like when they say all of that. He is a highly regarded for recruit. He has had a broken. Yeah, yeah. We're gonna go with yeah. We're gonna go edge. So second round, we're gonna go edge. Get our linebacker. Get our dip into that rich defensive end class of this draft. And then here we go on our third. So let me go ahead and take that out. So now this right here, honestly, I really do want to go. I should have went receiver on that last one, but with Jacoby Lane, being like 6'5" and almost sounding like a Tedoroy McMillan clone, I didn't want to get another T Mac. I think we're going to need a wide receiver a little bit smaller, a little bit more with speed. So this is the third round. So this is where I think we should target a receiver. I think either third or second would be good. Hell, I could have even did first round, but I'm a sucker for SEC talent. I just think that the SEC has like really good defensive players, so I'm a big sucker for that. So here we go. We're going to go to our wide receivers, and we are going to finally make our pick. We're going to get our number 2 wide receiver here in the third round. So let's look. Okay, now you know what? You already heard me say this about let's see. Here we go. Zachariah Bryant enters his junior year at Georgia after transferring from where he showcased electric, but regressed across the board into he both. You know what? That's what we're gonna do. Yeah, yeah. Now let me take a look at let me see who else is down here in this area because I wonder if they still got what's his name from South Carolina. That's the receiver I'm really interested in. Can't remember. I think it's like Nick Jordan. Can't find him on here. I don't think they have him on there from South Carolina. No, no, he has to be eligible for that one. Let me go right here. Anthony, so he's accounted for. He's a natural born separator. Clemson, I don't know, but man, with Auburn, let's see, he's a smaller. You know what? We're gonna give him a chance. We're gonna give Zachariah Bryant because we need speed. We have to get speed. We have to get speed. So our first receiver, Zachariah Branch from Georgia. We're gonna see if that athleticism can transfer over to the Panthers, and that way we can get our number 2 receiver. We can start getting speed out there, and hopefully somebody that can take some coverage or some pressures off on T Mac. So here we go. We're going right there. Going into the fourth round. So in the fourth round, I'm thinking we're gonna go. Now we'll see how this situation with Taylor Moden goes. But I'm gonna go ahead and I think we'll go ahead and take a look at a tackle right here. Let me see. I want. Yeah, yeah. That's coming soon. Of course, of course, of course. We'll take Carter Smith from Indiana. I think Carter Smith, Indiana sounds about right. Indiana runs the ball pretty well. Has a really great team. So we got Boston College right here. Yeah, we'll go Carter Smith. So we'll go ahead and take our tackle at the fourth right there. All right, here we go. Entering the fifth. Entering the fifth. So let's see. So far, we took in a linebacker, taking a tackle, a D end, and a receiver. So in our fifth round, damn. Now I probably should have went corner on that one. Now that I think about it, but we could probably still get away with not necessarily having a high draft pick on a corner. Here we go. Let's see. But we definitely need a corner that can handle speed. Here we go. We'll go Keontae Scott. Yeah, from Miami, from the U. Here we go. All right, so we got our corner. Let me make sure I marked that out that I took my corner. Okay, so I believe we got here. We are in the fifth. Okay, so in the fifth round we have our very own fifth, and then we also have the Minnesota fifth from the Adam Thielen trade. So for this one, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and select another wide receiver. We're gonna see what wide receiver. I think we do need to double dip. So in this draft, I do have us double dipping at receiver. Um, because I think we do need to let Renfro go. I think we need to also let David Moore go and uh, Jimmy Horn, I think uh, Jimmy Horn, but also Bryson Tremaine should also be able to show what they got, and we need to have more of a youth movement on the wide receivers because that's going to be big because this year, with our offense, if teams were able to stop our run, then pretty much our offense was one dimensional, just relying on T Mac, and then you didn't really have Excel stepping up consistently. You didn't really have now. Coker did step up pretty good. I think right now where we're at, T Mac is obviously our one. Coker, yes, for our team he's a two, but he's probably really actually a three. And then I think Excel has his moments, but I think Excel like last year it looked like Excel was a two, or he could potentially be a one. This year he's obviously regressed. He looks like he can he switches from like either being a three or a four, and then he'll just have a blue moon where he can be like a two. It's like a blue moon game, and it's like he looks like he could be a number two wide receiver that could finally complement T Mac. But I think we're gonna go wide receiver right here and try to get another playmaker. So let's see, who do we have here in our wide receiver room? I don't. Yeah, I don't. They don't really have that South Carolina wide receiver. I did not see him at all in here, and that sort of makes me mad. I wanted to get Nick. I want to say his name is Nick Jordan. Let me look him up. Yeah, yeah, that's gonna really bug me. I'm gonna look that up because I know his name is let me see, South Carolina receiver Nick Harbert. Yeah, yeah, Nick Harbert. Yeah, yeah. This is the receiver right here that we gotta get. This is who I want. I think he would be really good. He's like 6'5", amazingly fast. But what is he? A class senior. He's coming out in the draft. I guess somebody must have taken him early in the process, and then it probably makes sense that he was already off the board on this simulation. due to the fact that if he kills it at the combines, everybody's going to be after him. So we'll go right here with, let's see, BYU. I don't know about all of that for our second wide receiver. We'll just go Trace. Yeah, we'll take the guy from BYU, Chase Roberts. So that's our double pick right there, and then we'll have our last pick, and our last pick is going to be a in the sixth round. So here we go. Let me set that over there. And no, we're rejecting that. We're not doing any of that. So for our last one, we're just gonna go safety right here. Last pick of the draft, so we'll make it count. Oh, gotta draft my cousin. Gotta draft my cousin. It'd be crazy. It'd be crazy if they did draft my cousin. I am from Texas and I'm related to Jonathan Brooks, who's on the team. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna take my cousin, Dalton Brooks, from Texas A&M as our safety. So yeah, let's go. Two Brookses on the Carolina Panthers. Why not? So yeah, that's the draft, and then we'll do a recap of this bad boy. Let's see once we finish this down, and then get down to Mister Irrelevant. Alrighty. So yeah, this is my full draft results. Let's see what's full results. Oh, well, yeah. Here we go. So yeah, I think we should start off getting the linebacker from Georgia. I had a chance to take Sonny Styles. I just think that either way, same way with C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young in that draft, where either way we can't lose. Like if we're on the board and C.J. Allen and Sonny Styles are both there, we can't lose. I feel like, and then the second round, we win defensive end, get that pass rush. It's a really good draft with defensive end, so we had to really tap into that. Third round, Zachariah Branch, definitely need that speed. We need that speed at wide receiver, and it shows up well with Jimmy Horn, which I don't understand why we don't utilize him a little bit more. Because when Jimmy Horn gets the ball, or when he has energy, I don't understand that. But I think if we get Zachariah Bryant. And if we, who knows if we can get both of them, him and Jimmy Horn, and Canales can probably start stepping up that offense, or maybe we might need to get a. I know Brad Isaac is this guy, and they were together in Tampa, but we may need to, hopefully put Brad Isaac somewhere else. Like he can still be with the team, but like we just need that offense, the passing game, to just start being more aggressive. And I'm hoping that if we take like Zachariah Branch with somebody with that speed, that can help us out, and that can also take some pressure away from T Mac. And then also too, I think that could be a good thing for Coker. Coker's a pretty good route runner, and he has some pretty good hands. And then XL is hopefully, I mean, I haven't given up completely on. Well, I haven't given up at all on XL. I like XL Now, I'll be honest in saying that when we drafted XL, I felt we should have drafted Adion Mitchell. I thought they were like Troy Franklin. I was a big either Troy Franklin, Adion Mitchell, Xavier Wardy. I was really big on those receivers in the draft that XL was selected on. Now I wasn't too big on Lad McConkey, but Lad McConkey shut me up. He's been balling crazy, but I just wanted to throw that out there that I think that we definitely need to get another receiver out there, and that I think XL is still good. I just think that XL has its moments. I think Coker is probably like a number three receiver. I think XL is sort of like a he's sort of like the thing that and then it's like a jack in the box. Like, one day XL can probably play like oh number one, then the next day he can play like a number two, and then there's days where he's sort of in this like 3 to 4 range. The fourth pick, I mean our fourth overall, our fourth selection, in the fourth round, I went tackle. Now looking back at it, I probably should have went corner at that position, but it's kind of hard, and this is why I said that us trading back. So when obviously if y'all watching, y'all saw that when I first did this mock draft, I believe it was the Texans gave me a draft pick for later in the first round and then early in the second round. But what I was saying was that, in order for us to do that trade on the simulation, we gave up 2 picks and they gave us 2 picks, so we swapped. Um, in a perfect world, well, not even a perfect world, but a better case scenario is that the Panthers give up 1 pick and get 2 back. That's something that's going to be really important in this upcoming draft because we need to get as many picks within. I believe they say something about a threshold of within the first. I don't think it's like 150 or so, but like the first 3 rounds, that's when you get like really good, or I guess the first 4 rounds is when you get really good talent, and then I think from the fourth round, down to the very last pick, that's where the talent just sort of drops off, and then I guess you're just shooting darks at that point. But you know, this is the draft where we're gonna have to, uh, you know, potentially we might have to say goodbye to C.J. Allen or Sonny Styles because we need to fill up other holes on our teams. Now, luckily this year, I don't think that for the 2026 season for this draft, we don't really have a lot of holes. Like we finished that last year. Last year draft that which we had with T Mac, we did a pretty good job, and it shows. And now these holes aren't as bad. I think the problem with our team is that we it's just more or less like depth and talent, and also how our talent is being utilized. So with the wide receivers, we got a really good one in T Mac, but we need that number two. As far as our linebackers, we were having issues, and we still have issues with covering tight ends. Rosenboom made a good play this game, but I also think that we're going to need that like sort of dog, that sort of like Ray Lewis type of linebacker that's just going to have everybody in the right spots for our defense, and that can just be like a stand-up guy, like almost a Kuechly. I said Ray Lewis, and Ray Lewis is really good, but also like a Luke Kuechly. We're going to need to get that linebacker in this draft. And so, I mean, looking back at this Carter Smith pick, I can honestly say that I feel great about these 3 picks right here with the linebacker, the edge, and the wide receiver. I feel really great about these picks. But it's when I get to the fourth round where it's like, damn, man. I mean, we're gonna have to hit it good on a corner. So looking back, I maybe should have went corner right there to be still in that range where it's like yeah, I mean like no, the fourth and the fifth shouldn't be that big of a drop off, but even still, and I believe we drafted what's his name, Josh Norman. Josh Norman was either a third, I think he was like a third from Coastal Carolina, or I don't know why I want to say a fifth, but he could have been a third or a fifth. I think he's like a fifth or so. So we could have, Keontae Scott. So, but I mean, corner's not really, Mike Jackson's playing really good, and we just have our issues every now and then with speedy receivers. But Langton Ramson's going to get better. Trevon Merrick was playing really good ball for us, and you know. But that was just like one area looking back at it. So I mean I like these three picks right here. I like the fact that with Chase Rob. Let me look up because I did not even know who Chase Roberts is. I'm sorry about that, guys. Let me look up Chase Roberts real quick, and then we'll end this bad boy Chase Roberts, BYU. Okay, let's see. Chase Roberts, 6'4". He's a taller wide receiver, so he would have kind of really been like Bryson Tremaine. Okay, so he's looking like he has like the Bryson Tremaine kind of built. Zachariah Branch. Let me look up Zachariah Branch. Okay, Zachariah Branch sets up you catches catch four catches including a. Okay, so damn. So yeah, all right. Let me go back here and yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna definitely do some more research and going on, but overall, and then I have to finish this off with drafting my cousin right there, Dalton Brooks. Who that'd be crazy because yeah, Dalton and Jonathan Brooks, they're cousins, so it's really yeah, that's really crazy. I didn't expect to draft my own cousin on a mock draft, but yeah, this is my first mock draft. I'll do more uh, coming on this year, but so far, this is a draft. I think this is what we need to do. We need to get a linebacker. We definitely need to get another edge, even though I don't think that it's pressing for us to get an edge as early as I did, because I just think that. But I mean, this draft is deep, and you can never have too much pass rush. So, you know, why not go ahead and just do it again? And with Zachariah Branch, just getting some speed. I'll do some research on some more research on the wide receivers. I watched some of the bowl games like Texas A&M and all of that, but that was just like one game and whatnot. And then, but as far as I think our draft strategy for this upcoming year, we definitely got to hit it off the park with a Luke Kuechly, Ray Lewis type linebacker. We can use probably another guy to help out Scorden. Scorden was getting, I guess chipped on against the Buccaneers that they realize how good he is, and Princely Umon Mielen can still get better, and I think he actually got a sack in this the last the game against Tampa, but we can definitely get another pass rush. We'll probably be letting Wanham go, so I think we can get another pass rush, and then we got to find somebody to take pressure off of T Mac. I'm a big believer that we should probably double dip at receiver in this draft, and then tackle just in case Taylor Morton or something happens with that on our offensive line, and then find a corner that can pretty much keep up with a speedy receiver who can just won't get beat as much as Mike Jackson does. So and Mike Jackson and J.C. Horn, who's going to his second Pro Bowl, can like take him under their wing and whatnot. And then uh, I don't think that like safety is too big of an issue on our team, but we'll I think we can address that in the later rounds of the draft. But I think the more important positions are wide receiver. Well, let me say it first: linebacker, wide receiver, and the defense has been good this year. But did they have their moments? So it's really linebacker and receiver. Linebacker and receivers are the most, I think, critical for this coming up draft. Now, people are going to throw out like offense. Now, offensive tackle is important too, but I think people are going to throw out like safety or like tight ends or what was that, corner? Which corner is big, but I think corner's like a second tier problem for us because J.C. Horn and Mike Jackson do a pretty good job. And even though we get on them about getting beat, like with Chris Olave or Jalen Waddle, even in the games against like Green Bay or LA Rams, we didn't really get torched, with like just straight up bombers. So it corner, we can still use improvement. But yeah, this is my mock draft. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. If y'all disagree, let me know who do you want the Panthers to draft in this upcoming draft, and do you agree with me having like two receivers, or do you just comment and let me know, and I'd be glad to talk with you guys. All right. Well, that's Panthers forecast. This is my first mock draft, and you guys take care. Bye.